Check, check, mic check. The free agency frenzy, the passive aggressive free agency frenzy. I guess that's applicable here too. I got some questions, and I know you guys feel the same way. So we're gonna just talk about it real quick. I got about 30 minutes before I got to get up out of here, so I wanted to pop in. We'll probably come back, hop back in, and do another live, as I'm sure there will be continuing breaking news as we burn the midnight oil. Let's get to 1 second. Where's my chat? Where y'all at? Mic check, mic check. If I sound okay, let me know. While we do that, I'm Lando from the Lando Show with Sports Below the Surface. We got breaking news already. That's interesting. As Game Bomber 1TV2 just mentioned, the Cowboys have just signed Peyton Turner. Let's pull up his profile real quick. So the premise today, real quick, just to start up the conversation, is I remember this kid's name. Honestly, I'd be lying to you if I told you I knew anything about his career since he's entered the league. All right, let's see what kind of news we got first, though. We'll kind of talk this through together. Let's go. Give me Spotrac. Actually, it says that's not. Okay, here we go. 26 years old, 4 years of experience out of Houston. An edge or defensive end from the New Orleans Saints. First round pick back in 2021, as mentioned by our guy in the chat here. 28th overall selection. So it's a second round talent by the league standards, given most teams are lucky in any given draft year that they have 15 to 18 if the true first round grades. Yes, there's 31 or 32 total picks that get selected. They're first round picks, but that doesn't mean that the team had them as a first round grade, right? There's a bit of a disconnect there. Okay, so let's look at some of the production. Why is he okay? 2021 first round draft pick. That means so he's played 2021, 2022, 2023. So this would be his fifth year contract season. It's obviously the Saints neglected to pick up that option, making him, I believe, is that a restricted free agent this year? He hits free agency next year. So what happened? Was he a cap casualty? What's good, Jake? Jake in the house. We got Hunter Sands. Hey, if you're free, Hunter, and you want to hop on, you have anything to say, man, let me know. Send you the link. That's my guy right there. Yeah, he's been a rotational player. We're going to look at the production in just a quick second, but I want to know let's do this. I'm sure my people over at cowboyscountry.com are writing about this as we speak. So no surprise, though. I mean, this is a minimum deal as far as free agency is concerned and he's spent, right? This is a 1 year, looks like $3 million deal. The Saints declined to pick up his option. So this is interesting. I mean, that's right on brand, right? Same thing with Solomon Thomas, former top 5 overall in the NFL draft. It's the Cowboys are huge in the former high draft stock or pedigree profile that also coincides with a cheap price tag. Okay, so clearly there's no market for this dude. Most people say that Javonte Williams isn't even so much. Or I don't say most. Say half of the people in the Cowboys fan base at least feel that Javonte Williams is no upgrade over Rico Dowdle. Okay, let's just assume that that's the case. He's not an upgrade. $3.5 million to come here and play. Technically, he's leading the running back room as of right now. I've got some thoughts that may be able to, let's just say, change your opinion on Javonte Williams that I'll hopefully be producing tomorrow. But if we could just consider the market value or lack thereof in this case, 1 year, $3 million from a guy who still isn't 4 years removed from being a first round selection. The league thinks that he's on this along the same lines of Javonte Williams price tag as far as his value, right? The most replaceable position in football, the most oft injured position in football, the running back position. Not as valuable to the league as Javonte Williams. So, what do we make of this? $3 million, that might as well be league minimum. That's a vet minimum market value, as far as I'm concerned. So the Saints, what did the Saints save by cutting him? That's another question that I want to know. So he was due to hit their cap for $13.3 million this year. Peyton Turner. Was he a high sack guy coming out of college? Does anybody know? Mike Filio's in the house. What's up, Mike? I need to do a better job of staying more up to date with the chat. We're working on it, but trying to be concise as possible here, considering I don't have a ton of time. We'll probably hop back on here. I'm going to shoot for 8:00 p.m. again tonight. No guarantees. Like I said, I will have both girls tonight. My wife's going to be away, so we'll see, depending on how things go with the evening slate and what's happening in the news, how urgent a second live of the day is tonight. We'll see. But yes, Peyton Turner, that's kind of what we're talking about here. Unrestricted free agent. The Saints neglected to pick up his fifth-year option, making him a free agent this year in 2025. $3 million though, right? It's nothing. It's not gonna wow you, you know. So my whole point was, and what I wrote this morning, cowboyscountry.com. My 7 pillars. Okay, Jerry Jones gave me 7 pillars as to why things have already been different this season. Okay, the logic was sound for me to connect the dots to evaluate what's already occurred as far as creating this amount of salary cap space, watching the way that Brian Schottenheimer has urged them away from their comfort zone, gotten away from that complacency, watching the way Jerry Jones was handling the media, even whenever he usually does his damnedest to take up as much of the headline space as he possibly can on his bus tour during the combine in Indianapolis. But instead, Schottenheimer, once again, further context here, bringing the entire operation. I've talked about this. It's all well documented. Okay, make sure y'all are following along. And by the way, hit that, making the push to 4,000. This is happening quickly, and I appreciate the support from you guys. It seems like a lot of you've been engaging with me. Presumably appreciating the consistency in which we've been popping on here doing more of these live shows. But help me out if you're enjoying this content, man. I do. This is my full-time job now, and I'm doing the best that I can to present the truth, the sports below the surface truth, the most accurate information to you, to the fans like you that truly deserve to hear it. Okay, 4,000 and counting. Are on our way to 4,000. Our sponsor here, as you see, everything I wear that you've seen me wear for the last year and hopefully for 10 years to come and beyond, is brought to you by Waggle. Get your waggleon.com code HOSL10 for everything. I'm telling you guys, their stuff, it speaks for itself. I'm going to just leave it there. Okay. Thanks. And that's a good point too. Okay, so we're getting a little bit more insight here. Appreciate you guys doing some more of the legwork for me as I'm trying to stay on task. 10 total sacks at Houston. I mean, so he must have tested off the charts and stout in the run game. He must have. I mean, there's something to let's get measurables. Let's get the. I'm assuming he tested the combine, correct? Let's find out. Let's do math bombs. Let's get a evaluation on where he stacks up. Maybe that's not going to give me anything nice there. By the way, I think I forgot to put a pin in what I was trying to get at. We'll have our first giveaway once we reach the 4,000 mark. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to divvy up the Waggle gift cards, but it'll either be 100 or 250 to continue making the trek forward and towards 5K. 75,000 total people strong here, following and supporting me, and I can't do it without you guys. So make sure that you're doing those things and hitting the either if you're not subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button for me, and if you are, either like the video for me and share it with a friend.
All right.
That's all I need. Thank you, Matthew. Let's see here. Okay. Peyton Turner, mock draft. It doesn't look like Math Bomb has a chart for me, so I'm not exactly sure, but it looks like the official measurements, according to mockdrafttable.com, Peyton Turner out of Houston, 6'5.5", 268 pounds, 91st percentile wingspan, 94th percentile arm length. Pretty good. 90th percentile hand size, 10.5 inches, and a 35.5-inch vertical jump, which is almost 80%. 84% three-cone drill, which is also very important. Can you bend? How well can you? How quick are your feet? Can you drop your hips a little bit? And athletic, very important, obviously for an edge. And then 23 reps on the bench press. That's the only measurement that's recorded here. That's a little bit light per the NFL standards, but a really good athlete nonetheless. It looks like this is a dude that's like at least the 8th percentile overall score. For if Math Bomb were to have this out, we'd be looking at something along those lines. I would guess. But so, and then this is a good point. So let me just transition and work my way up out of here. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page before we continue. Okay. Let me pull up my Twitter because that's going to help me organize my thoughts here too. And yes, I still call it Twitter. Debate your mama. Yeah. Debate your mama. Okay. So if we go over here to at the Lando Show on Twitter, which is the best place to communicate with me around the clock. A lot of you guys are watching me over there right now. A Cowboys free agency thread. Okay, here's kind of where my thoughts were this morning. As discussed last week, it's reasonable to withhold some spending aggression until you get a chance to evaluate the product under a new coaching staff. Seems reasonable, right? However, it does not make sense to leave said coaching staff in a 6-foot hole before they even have a chance to get started. Especially after the compelling evidence in recent weeks, like I touched on and wrote about, the 5 pillars that became the 7 pillars because I actually put that piece out prior to OSA happening and then Dak and CD restructuring. So it's really 7 pieces of evidence that led me to believe that they actually will be taking this free agency a little bit differently, approaching it differently. Okay, and I still believe that there's got to be something in the pipeline. Is there a trade that we don't know about? Are they actually preparing to wait for somebody like Joey Bosa to get cut and sign him? Are they going to go out and get Asante Samuel Jr.? Who knows? Are you going to bring in Will Hernandez and Cooper Kupp? I mean, I think any 2 or 3 of those right there would would go a long way to say that, okay, they're at least kind of taking what Lando is saying here and starting to evaluate things, but be a little bit more selectively aggressive, right? And then maybe next year more aggressive once you know where you really sit. Okay, that's plausible, guys. This is not. I know what the last 30 years suggests, but what I'm telling you is that the last 30 years wouldn't have suggested the 7 pillars that I talked about before free agency opened up. Y'all feel me on that? Yeah. I hope so. Okay, now let's continue. What am I missing though? Okay, this is the $55 million question. And I somebody put in the chat for me too, please, because this is something that I forgot to do, and I apologize for not being fully prepared. Let me know what Cavante Turpin's contract did to the Spotrac projection of the Cowboys' available cap space. Somebody work on that behind the scenes for me, and then after I conclude this, maybe if y'all still don't have that answer, we can go solve that together. Okay, so what am I missing though? $55 million for what? Is a trade brewing? Or are we all just sheep? I was feeling some type of way this morning. It certainly feels like the latter for now, but it feels like something is in the pipeline. That's like I said, right? Even if that something is just merely Cooper Kupp, Will Hernandez, Eric Kendricks, Asante Samuel, or any two of the aforementioned, that's plenty for me, but we shall see. Let me know how you're feeling. Russ didn't like that, by the way. Sorry about that, Russ. Sorry to offend you if I did that, man. But listen, all I can do is report the facts, okay? I've objectively rooted what their moves that were already made suggested about how they were planning to approach this offseason. Things had already changed. It's not debated. It can't be debated. It's fact. And so I was just merely connecting the dots. Right now, I did tell you not to expect anything on the first wave. Let's be clear about that. If we're gonna piss in my Cheerios about me just reporting the facts, then let's also report the other stuff that's so conveniently left out anytime somebody just gets up in their feelings and wants their thumbs to do the work for them. And I'm not saying that's the case here for Russ. He and I have many exchanges in the past, and I respect this man here. I'm not talking about Russ. But other people have come at me more aggressively, so that's what I'm saying is who's the bad guy here? It's not me. I'm not switching to the dark side. That is the people who are trying to save face for this organization. If anything, name me who has called this organization out more than me across all platforms. You go add them up: YouTube, Cowboys Country, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok. I guarantee you, ain't nobody has more tallies than I do, dating back to the postmortem series that began immediately after the Green Bay Packers loss. Who's been more outspoken against the Joneses than I have? If you can't or won't go and get that number for me, then miss me in my mentions, please. With the you're just a mouthpiece. I'll dedicate an entire project and I will fire up anybody who wants to challenge me in that regard. All right. Well, I'll fight fire with fire if I have to. I've done that in the past. It's actually kind of fun. But I'm a nice guy, and I try to take the high road the best I can. But hey, listen, man. The objective truth, the objective sports below the surface truth is who I am. And if you debate that, then carry on. I won't fight to keep you around because you and the 75,000 other people, or maybe not you, but the 75,000 other people who are along this journey with me would strongly disagree. All right. I love y'all. I'm not mad at all. I'm just saying, listen. Okay, so it looks like a $3.5 million cap hit in the interim. What was he? Let's go pull up Cavante Turk. You think that the Spotrac projection dated this quickly? See how fast them boys are working over there. Cavante Turpin. Let's just do Spotrac. Overthecap.com, Spotrac. One of those two. And we'll go here. We'll go. Here we go. Okay, so 3-year, $18 million. They are updated. Good for them. Good stuff, Spotrac. Mad respect. So he's entering his age 29 season. Okay. They don't have all the breakdowns yet because it's obviously nothing is official until tomorrow at 4 p.m. Keep an eye on the Micah Parsons extension too, by the way. That's another telltale for how serious the Joneses truly are. Kevontae Turpin, though. 3 years, $18 million contract with the Cowboys, including $5.5 million guaranteed, an average annual salary of $6 million. Okay. So only $5.5 million of that is guaranteed. So think about it, guys. So let's just talk about this. Okay. This is a 3-year extension, but the guarantees are what's most important to pay attention to here. Okay. So like I've talked about the OSA implications as well, right? 4 for 80, 50, what was it, 58 total guaranteed for Osa. So the Cowboys really have an out after year 2, even though they signed him to a 4-year extension. Okay. Just the way that the math works. Once again, the salary cap is fake. Cap hell is fake. The salary cap is fake today, real in the future. All right. But for the sake of this exercise, Osa, his cap hit's only $6.25 million this year. Okay. 4-year, $80 million extension, $58 million of that is guaranteed. That means he could play 2 years, and then they could post June 1 cut him to get off of the remainder of his money to save a little bit extra for that 3rd year if they wanted to. Same thing is here for Kevontae Turpin. So we're talking about the $3 million contracts all over the place that aren't going to save the holes here for this franchise. This is yet another one of those. Don't let the 3 years for you. They can get out of this after 1 if they choose. There's only $5.5 million that's totally guaranteed here. This is a minimal extension for Kevontae Turpin. Now that's important to note for the people who may say, okay, well, 3 years, $18 million, they better have some plan for him to because you're not just gonna, maybe you would, but you're not just gonna pay a guy who simply returns punts for you, punts and kicks, that much, right? It seems like a lot of money on the surface. That's kind of that was the conclusion that people drew. Well, once again, sports below the surface, digging a little bit deeper here, this says that it's a 3-year, $18 million contract. But in reality, if things don't go well, entering his age 30 season, which will be next year, the Cowboys could cut him. It's well within the range of outcomes, right? And I hope that's not the case for Kevontae. I want every dollar that he can possibly milk out of this. Right? He's a fun player, fantastic player. And I think he does bring a little like an added element, but that's not what this deal is. This isn't a contract that says, yeah, Kevontae Turpin is wide receiver 3 and we will treat him accordingly. No, he's your punt and kick returner. And you give him, if you want to manufacture a touch or two, sure. So he's a weapon. He'll be treated accordingly, but don't let these numbers fool you here. Okay. Yeah, so Darlene, that's another good point. That's kind of the whole. I do have a Cash App, Angie, and I appreciate you asking that. That's something I need to be better. I need to go ahead and just create a description that'll have everything that I'm supposed to try to remember to tell y'all because I always forget because I'm just scatterbrained and I just get going. But I will maybe tonight. I'll get to it. Today's been a really productive day. I'm finally starting to feel like I'm in a rhythm and in a schedule that I can maintain. That feels good that I can maintain. Okay, where I'm kind of checking a little bit of every box as far as sports media is concerned. Okay, my daughters are in school twice a week, so that gives me two and a half days if you include the Friday half day that my wife usually takes, where I am uninterrupted. You and I, right here. So we're getting there. But yes, my Cash App, for those that are interested, that's another way to support. But I always say the easiest way to do so is just to hit the like button if you've already subscribed. If you're not, just subscribe for me. One task, okay? No matter who you are, where you're at. It's totally free, but worth every penny, right? Cash App, though, is the $ and my last name, or first and last name. I'll type it in here real quick. I don't know if y'all can see that. And then my Venmo is Landon Holyfield. Like I said, I'll have that in the description. So if you guys are feeling generous, if it's payday and you want to support me and the growth, that's one way that you can do that. But we'll talk about that at a later date. Like I said, the push to 4,000 and beyond. Okay, the first giveaway will have either a $100 or a $250 Waggle gift card. I'm not sure exactly which one yet, but stay tuned on that. Okay, 4,000. We'll get there soon. Maybe today if you guys help me out. I think as of right now we're in the 3,900 range somewhere. All right, so yeah, Hoodie Kush makes a good point. You know, where is it? Where is having an All Pro or Pro Bowl returner a bad thing? Not at all. Not a bad thing at all. But especially when you look at the true breakdown of the money here, it's even better, right? So moving on, and I got a couple more minutes before I got to get up out of here. It is what questions do you guys have for me? First of all, and the super chat function is also available if you want to make sure that your voice and your question is heard and answered and responded to. It's another way to support the channel. But you guys set the pace, okay? I'm here for you. So what am I forgetting? I could pull up back to Angie's point, though. I believe it was Angie who mentioned that, or somebody who said it. And once again, what Hoodie Kush is saying, hit the damn like button. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Okay, so Game Bomber says it's still reflecting the same $52 million on the Cowboys salary cap situation. Do I think that they'll actually pay Micah tomorrow? Don't. It seems incredibly unlikely, barring something completely unforeseen, given just based solely upon the way that they've approached the first wave of free agency. So I was actually optimistic based on the 7 pillars that I talked about before Monday opened up yesterday. But as of today, the passive aggressiveness has led me to believe that it's not going to happen. Okay? So let's just make my day and prove me wrong, right? That's kind of, I mean, we would all love that. So we'll see. What do I think about Isaiah Simmons? Give me some more information. What do you mean exactly? Are they? Is there some talks about them shopping him? I don't know what his contract situation looks like. I could check, but surely, I mean, if you're asking me, I'm guessing that you have more details for me already in the interim. By the way, somebody mentioned, I think if Hunter Sands is still in here, we talked about him earlier. That's my dude. Is somebody reporting, or what's the legitimacy of the report that the Cardinals are potentially shopping Kyler Murray? Because I hadn't heard anything about that until he mentioned it, and I haven't done any digging into it. But at the end of the day, though, guys, I think before I bounce, I mean, it feels like they didn't just create $55 million in cap space for nothing. And if they restructured Dak and they deferred some of his money, and they're not going to use the space that they've created, and instead just defer that towards future years, then they're wasting it. What did you extend Dak for? What did you extend CD for? And then what did you restructure them for? Right. The 4 and soon to be 5 highest paid players on the roster all are synonymous with the contract duration of the current head coach. Okay. And the punchline that I want to make sure is heard here. It's perfectly plausible, reasonable to take a wait and see approach in a selectively aggressive manner until you know what you have with your roster and the way that its new coaching staff is using it. Then you become less selectively aggressive the following year. Okay, that's perfectly plausible. It makes sense. It makes sense to not spend last year if Stephen Jones was freaking fed up with Mike McCarthy and his perpetual staff and roster getting outcoached and outplayed anytime the Cowboys matched up against a playoff caliber opponent. Or a team that was just willing to say, hey, you're so weak here, we are going to exploit you. Even if it's something that we're not used to doing. It's not who we are. We're going to go heavy. We're going to go condense the formation. We're going to run the football 49 times for 267 yards, James Cook, right down your throat. And there's nothing you can do about it. Same with the Packers. Same with the Niners twice. They controlled the line of scrimmage, the interior, a gap on sides of the football. Okay. Is this calculated? One second. Let me organize my thoughts here. Is this calculated? On behalf of the Joneses? Is there something up their sleeve? Is there something we don't know about that we can't predict with the trade market? Nobody predicted that Laramie Tunsil was going to get moved yesterday. Nobody predicted that, was it Kenyon Green that just got traded to the Eagles today because, they got Mekhi Becton, who just dominated alongside the Great Wall of Philadelphia and is once again on the open market, right? The Eagles just say, okay, screw it. We'll trade draft capital. We'll go get somebody instead of negotiating with you. We'll get somebody that we think is better. I don't know that Kenyon Green's better, but clearly Jeff Stoutland and Howie Roseman think that he is. I could be reading that all wrong, but we'll see. Is this seemingly asleep at the wheel free agency approach yet again? Or I guess I should say asleep on the yacht. Is this a calculated approach or is it completely clueless? You can't leave this coaching staff, the one that, let's just say presumably and reasonably, that you are evaluating for a year before you really, really go all in and sign some checks. You're leaving said coaching staff in a 6-foot hole. If you enter the NFL draft this year with the roster as it's currently constructed, you cannot play football. You cannot play defense right now. You're 2 corners short, one slot nickel and one outside. You're at least 2 linebackers short, but one that should start for you, right? Remember, Damone Clark, cut candidate here, $3.3 million saved. They waive him. And you're still at least one more, maybe 2 defensive tackle short. And that doesn't even mention everybody who still rightfully believes that this team needs desperately another receiver and another running back. You cannot take that approach. 6 feet deep for your passive aggression. And the coaching staff that a lot of people are excited about, you give them no chance. If the roster as it's currently constructed enters the NFL draft. Okay? Passive aggression, calculated, or completely clueless. Okay? I'm simply connecting the dots. $55 million can take you a lot further than $55 million because of deferred money, void years, contract restructures. Stop letting the Joneses fool you. Okay? Maybe I'm the idiot, but I'm just telling you the truth. What is objectively happening around the league, the salary cap gymnastics that can be made, the things that you can do to properly construct a competitive roster, a championship caliber roster, build the right way. Got to be willing to spend just a little bit of this, right? $55 million for what? That's all I got. Comments. like button, subscribe button. Tell a friend where to find me. Okay, that's it. I'll talk to you guys soon. Remember, prayer changes things and the war is already won.